Travis Hunter completely shattered the norm of college football recruiting. 10 years back, if a time traveler told you that the #1 recruit in the nation decided to go to an HBCU, you'd tell him to stay off the mind-altering substances. Now, it happened, and the backlash was crazy. Some people thought he was destroying his career, but linking up with Coach Prime was the best thing to ever happen to him. It brought him to Colorado, where he ultimately just won the Heisman and one of the most unique seasons in college football history. But this was never supposed to happen. There's an alternate reality where Travis Hunter kept his original commitment to the Florida State Seminoles, and this would have changed everything. Would Jackson State still have won the SWAC in 2022? If they didn't, would Coach Prime have even gotten an offer from Colorado? Even if Prime ended up in Boulder, would they have the capabilities to turn it around? Now, probably not. And the most obvious question, how would this affect Florida State? Would this have gotten them into the 2023 playoffs or even stop the catastrophic fall off in 2024? I will be evaluating the repercussions for each of these three programs. And remember, this is a complete rabbit hole, the what if. There's about a billion different scenarios, so let me know some of your best in the comments. If you love college football and want to see more content just like this, make sure to subscribe, and let's get into it. First, the Hunter effect is not just on the field. The #1 player going to an HBCU is a butterfly effect that will trickle down for decades, showing these athletes that it's okay to take a different route. That cannot be understated. If Travis went to FSU, we would completely miss out on that entire narrative, which again ultimately helped schools like JSU long after his playing day. So this could have had a long-term effect that we can't measure. Next, I'm not going out on a limb and saying that the on-field success of Travis entirely shaped Jackson State. Coach Prime was already building something special. In 2021, a year before he arrived, the Tigers went 11-2, winning the SWAC. Travis just added that extra sauce needed to go 12-0 in the regular season this time in 2022 to repeat as conference champs. The best player on both sides of the ball, he played in 8 games and was making highlight reel plays. But this brings up a new thought in the rabbit hole. Did Colorado go all in to hire Prime in 2023, knowing that Travis would come due to the relationship they built? If Hunter had never been at Jackson State, would Colorado still have made the leap? It's possible that Prime would have needed another year to prove himself, meaning that the Buffs would have gone in a different direction, hiring a more established Power 5 leader. And I know you guys don't want to hear that. Obviously, Hunter or not, that doesn't question Prime's leadership and what he had going on with his sons. But the fact that he was able to flip the #1 recruit in the country gave Colorado confidence in their, let's be honest, very ballsy choice. Now, let's assume in this alternate reality, Colorado still hires Coach Prime. Without Travis Hunter, what does their 2023 season look like? Colorado won 4 games. It was the most hyped season ever, and that was with Hunter making a massive impact on both sides of the ball. Without him, do they even reach 4 wins? He was the second leading receiver despite missing 3 games, and in the first win over TCU, he put up over 100 receiving yards and had a pick. I mean, come on, guys. He did his thing again in Game 2 versus Nebraska, and you know what? You get the point. Take a future Heisman guy off of any roster, the results aren't going to be pretty, especially with the first-year head coach and a new level of football. Beyond the stats, though, Hunter's social media presence was also a goldmine for Colorado, which added to what was already there with Shedeur and Prime. Again, if Hunter was at FSU, Colorado still would have had the most hype in the country, but Travis was beloved on all social medias, including his presence in streaming, which just added to the cult following. Without Hunter, Colorado might not have built quite the same hype, which means fewer elite players transferring in. And then, of course, there's the 2024 season where the man won the Heisman Trophy. He was Mr. Everything, and at some points in the season, if you're a casual fan, you were not tuning in to see the Buffs, you were tuning in to watch the Travis Hunter show. Imagine that without him. Do they win the game against North Dakota State without Hunter? I frankly do not know. What about the game against Baylor in overtime where he won it himself on the forced fumble? Again, I do not know, and I don't even want to think about that, but Colorado does not have 9 wins. I can guarantee that if they don't have Travis Hunter in 2024. The most interesting part of the video, what about Florida State? And once again, I'm sorry, Noles fans. In 2022, they went 10-3, which would have been Hunter's freshman year in Tallahassee. While he was an instant impact guy, duh, Alabama, I believe this team had too many holes to truly be elite. So let's skip to 2023, which was marred in controversy. We all remember the controversy about the so-called playoff snub, but if they had Travis Hunter, that never happens for two reasons. Here's why. The CFP committee was not impressed by FSU's performances despite going undefeated. They won games, but lacked the dominance. I mean, they barely won against Boston College, OT against Clemson, the Miami game, all of that. But with Travis Hunter on both sides of the ball, this would have not happened. A few extra highlight plays could have been enough to change the entire perception of what their resume looked like. More dominant wins means a more impressive resume, making it nearly impossible for the committee to justify leaving them out. The biggest excuse, though, from the committee leaving Florida State out was the loss of their QB, Jordan Travis. Without him, they claim the team lacked firepower, but if you add Travis Hunter, a true game changer on both sides, that narrative falls apart. Imagine a 13-0 FSU team with the best two-way player in college football history. The committee would have been terrified of the backlash they'd face if they left them out. Instead of getting snubbed, FSU would have 100% been in that Rose Bowl facing Michigan, and maybe, just maybe, they go on to win a national championship. Moving forward to 2024, Hunter's presence could have drawn in more top-tier talent to Florida State through the transfer portal. Remember, they initially targeted Cam Ward and many others. With Hunter on the roster, they probably would have gotten a few of those guys, maybe an elite QB. FSU avoids their disastrous 2-10 season, and with anyone throwing to him that was above average, he still could have won the Heisman in 2024.